So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my AI asset building guide at the moment. Now, I had a few people request information about making assets with AI, and I want to share what I've been doing for my previous game, Scarred Steel, and what I'm currently doing for my current game, Primus, and how I'm using AI to make things like the images, the character images, the backgrounds, the music, the sound effects, the videos, etc. So I'll start by saying that I think making all this stuff with AI is certainly better for the most part, right? The reason I look to AI to make these assets to begin with is because it's easier, it's quicker. I'm not having to really spend much money at all in comparison to, for example, having to hire people to compose music, having to hire people to do the artwork, or having to go and do all the artwork myself. It's not exactly, I guess, a noble cause relying on AI for all of this, but I think it's more efficient. So that's really what I care about. So let's touch on images first. Now, originally I started making images with ChatGPT. Now I'm currently using Gemini with its Nano Banana Model 2. Now, for Scarred Steel, which was a more story-rich game, I used this for varying things. I would use this to make cutscene images, which were landscape images with, for example, my main character and maybe varying other characters. I used it to make character portraits, where it's effectively a vertical image of the character. And I also used it to make icon images for the game in terms of, for example, certain weapons and buttons, etc. So the way I did it was this. I basically one of the most important things with AI is giving it context. So what I did is I basically made, well, at the time it was custom chat GPTs, but I eventually went to custom gems, pretty much the same thing. And the idea is that I would give it a very specific prompt in terms of the art style I was looking for, so that it would help in terms of consistency, but also in terms of the thing I wanted it to output. For example, if I was making a cutscene image, I would want to, in the actual custom gem or GPT, whatever, I'd want to attach a file of, in my case, for Scarred Steel, the main character, because I needed AI to know what the main character looked like. So that when I said, for example, I want you to make this sort of image with the main character, which you can see in the knowledge base, it would at least be able to get an idea for what that looked like. And that did actually help. Now, again, AI is not perfect. Sometimes it wouldn't do as well, and that's just part of the process. But it did help. And things like, for example, saying, in the instructions for it to be a landscape image, for it to follow this specific art style, and what I would do is I'd attach other images that I was basically looking to, like in terms of the quality I wanted. The best way to do this is simply first, when you're trying to make images and you're trying to get an idea and put this all together, first try and make at least a image that suits the art style and the thing you're looking for. Like that's just the first thing. Whether you're making cutscene images, character that does it, or background, that doesn't matter. Make an image of the thing that you want, and then you can refer to that with AI so it has an idea of what that looks like. And the worst comes to worst, you can just copy and paste your image into AI and say, can you describe what the art style is? And then you can take that and you can put that into whatever AI. So that's sort of the way that I would, and I guess I am, approaching it at the moment. Things, for example, in terms of making characters. So I basically had a separate GPT, or sort of gem, I guess now, for characters, where I'd want the images to be effectively vertical, and I'd want to make sure that it makes basically a image of a full body portrait from head to toe, and I'd make sure that it keeps the background so that I could remove it afterwards. A weird little thing that I will say for when making, for example, characters for your games, you want to make it with the background first and then remove the background after. For some odd reason, when I try to make character portraits with the background removed, the quality sort of lost itself. I think when I talked to AI about it, it was something with the image model. So always make them with a background, and you can remove the background afterwards. So that's really the main thing. that I can really say for that. A lot of it, again, is like if you can make custom sort of prompt GPTs or gems, whatever you are using for those different scenarios. I mean, I had one for cutscene making, I had one for character making. I think I even had one for like icon image making in terms of you want it to be square dimension, and so on and so forth. So a lot of things with that. In terms of Primus, at the moment, I am, well, at the time of recording, I'm still focusing on getting everything working and just using placeholders. But I will be doing a similar thing for that. Primus is not a story-rich game. And I will advise a lot of times probably against making a story rich game with AI. If it's going to be a text based thing, that's probably okay. With Scarred Steel, the amount of cutscene images I made for a story rich game was actually quite exhausting. If I were to do it again, I'd want to have a much clearer idea because I made so many images. So that's something I will say. But other than that, I think it's really, really quite good for making the images. And a lot of it really is just the context you can give it. Like with Scarred Steel, I had to make hundreds and hundreds, or I probably did make hundreds and hundreds of cutscene images with the main character in it. And in order for AI to get that pretty much, I guess, right every single time was fairly difficult. But again, this is where giving it context of the main character was really useful. Sometimes I'd literally attach the image and say, can you include this main character, or can you swap out the guy on the left for the main character I've got attached? Things like that. So that's something I will say, which is to keep in mind. So now that I've talked about images, let's talk about sound effects. So originally for Scarred Steel, I used sound effects, I think from like, well, Free Sounds, I think it was, like freesounds.org or something. It was okay. It was okay. That's all I really will say about that. What I'm using for Primus though is I'm using 11 Labs. Now with 11 Labs, you can make sound effects with AI, and you can also find sound effects that other people have made with AI. All I'm going to say is really good. Really, really good. I took a handful of them. In order to use them, the sound effects, you do need to get the subscription. I think it's like £5 a month or £6 a month at the moment, which is very, very easy to do. You could literally buy the subscription, download and make tons of sound effects, and then cancel it. Simple as that. But yeah, I mean, for Primus, I've got like some steel vault sound effects, some leather sound effects for clicking buttons, a steel vault one for like confirming things. I've got like a stone door opening sound effect for when you first sort of, I guess, get into your first playthrough with Primus, and just varying things like that. I've got things like, damage sound effects. I think I've even got like, I guess like male damage effects, if you get what I mean, that sort of stuff. But yeah, 11 Labs, really, really quite good. I'm still using it. I'm still getting a feel for what the best way is to use it. But yeah, like so far, I've pretty much been searching things up on there. It is in the sound effect or AI sound effect thing. I think in like the left hand sidebar for 11 Labs. I on the note of that, I do also use 11 Labs, or I have been using 11 Labs for voiceovers. So you can make like almost like voiceover stuff, by putting in text and selecting a voice. For Scarred Steel, I did originally do that, but then I basically spoke what I wanted, and then I got 11 Labs to edit the voice in a different way, which I thought was okay. For Primus, I'm not sure what I'm looking for at the moment. I've literally just put in some text and got a voice to make it. It sounds all right.
They took the land. They took the title. They left the blood. In the dark, there is no politics, only the steel and the man holding it. From the filth, a new ludus rises. We will not stop until we are Primus.
But that's what I will say. The sound effects that are made, in my opinion, are a little on the quiet side. So whether it's going to be better, or at least for me, to speak out something fairly louder and then to put it into 11 Labs and get it to modify it, I'm not sure yet. But That's what we're pretty much doing at the moment. But yeah, 11 Labs, really quite good for sound effects and voiceovers. The next thing is music. So I've talked about Suno tons of times because it is really good. If you haven't already, like if you are currently making a game and you're looking for music, or if you're thinking about making a game for music, or if you just be curious to know what kind of music AI can make, Suno is very quite good. Again, in terms of usage for the music, it's super, super good at the time of recording anyway. Where literally, well, first of all, at the time of recording, you can currently make a few songs for free using some of like the older models. I think it's like V3 at the moment. But I think if you spend, I think it's like £8 a month or something. If you literally buy the subscription, make as many songs as you want, and then cancel the subscription, all that music you just made on the paid plan is yours forever. You can use it as much as you want, and yeah. So I did that for Scarred Steel, and I'm also already have done that for Primus. Really, really happy with the music it's made. The quality of music that it has made is the sort of thing which you would want to spend tons of, well, where you would have to spend tons of money like getting people to compose it. But even at that point, the thing is that if you pay someone else to compose it and they come back to you, if you don't like it or if you want them to change something, it's going to be a hassle. With Suno, it's just incredible in terms of the quality. I actually don't know how they do it. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of other I'm sure there's plenty of other music models out there. Suno was just the first one that I found, and I'm happy with it. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. As for making the music, I usually what I did or what I did do is I brainstorm with AI to get a feel for, right, this is my current game. These are all the scenes and the different, I guess, scenarios in the game. What sort of music do you think that we should have? And also, could you give me general prompts that I could give Suno in order to make these? And so, for example, for Scarred Steel, I described the fact that I've got a combat scene. I've got an intense sort of cutscene moment. I've got just the cutscene ambience. I've got the town background, the map background. For Primus, it was, I've got a combat scene. I've got the hub background. I've got the main menu music, etc. And obviously for Primus, because it's more gladiator and I guess Roman inspired, I basically got it to make music that felt more like that. And the music at the moment, I think, is really, really quite good. So yeah, and with Suno, you can make like multiple sort of variations of things. But overall, I think it's really, really quite good. I definitely recommend it to do that, which is cool. The last thing I will talk about, or at least on top of my head, is videos. So for Scarred Steel, at least, I used varying videos. Now, originally I was going to make video cutscenes, but I ended up getting rid of those because I didn't really feel like I wanted those. But I did have a few videos in the Scarred Steel trailer, which obviously I made with AI, and I know for Scarred Steel, at least, when you first open up Scarred Steel, obviously a short video of the main character plays. Now, that was actually one of the first couple of videos that I was able to make with AI, and I thought it looked really cool, so I just chucked it in there. Now, doing video with AI is a little bit on the unsure side, because I think what AI can do with video is really good. However, a lot of the time it's about whether it feels relevant enough to put it in video games, or at least to put a lot in there. For Scarred Steel, I think literally the only video I have in there is literally that first video. It's very minimal, and that's about it. I did actually like try and do a similar thing with Primus, but the video quality wasn't really that good. Maybe I just need to redo it, but at the moment I'm not sure. Now, I think the video for Scarred Steel, at least the two or three videos I had at the beginning of the trailer, I think looked all right. I think it set something of a scene, and it almost, yeah, it basically I feel like it set the mood quite a bit. So I think that's okay. Whether it's useful for the actual game itself, I just don't know. I think AI is good with video, but I think there are some aspects which can make it a little bit challenging. But again, I guess it depends what the sort of thing you're looking to make. Whether you're looking to make a bit of background art which maybe loops over time, that might be okay. But yeah, with AI video at the moment, in terms of the way I'm using it, is pretty much just probably going to be for things like trailers. That may change at the moment. I'm just not sure. But yeah, in terms of what I use for the videos, I was using Runway to do the videos. I believe with Gemini at the moment, you can make up to 2 or 3 videos a day, which some of the videos were actually okay. But again, it all matters down to the prompt that you give it. And I would avoid, like, if you're going to go and use AI videos, I'd avoid overdoing them because, especially when at least comes to, the game, well, basically marketing and selling the game, you don't want to give a false image of to what the game is and what it actually is. So that's what I will say for that. But this is pretty much the video for, I guess, something of an asset guide. On my Discord, I do have a short video series of a walkthrough, more specifically showing how I would basically start making a game with AI. It's less about coming out with a fully finished product, but it's more about showing you more specifically what AI is capable of and my sort of approach in terms of how I use AI, how I set things up, etc. So if that's of interest, then you're free to use that and look at that in my Discord. But if you have any questions, obviously you can ask, you can let me know. But yeah, there's still a lot which I'm still trying to pretty much learn and put together with using AI for varying things. But that's pretty much what we have so far. If there's anything specific in terms of asset creation that you want to know, feel free to ask. With that said, I'll catch you in the next one.